This is a major trap game for Notre Dame. The 10th ranked Fighting Irish travel to take on the newly ranked 5-0 Louisville Cardinals on Saturday night. And the million-dollar question right now is, can the Cardinals pull off the massive upset and shake up the college football world? That is the question that we're going to answer today. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. We're so glad you could join us today, breaking down everything you need to know for Notre Dame and Louisville on Saturday. As always, please continue to like, to comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below, including especially those expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com, beating out over 80% of the national handicappers each of the last 5 years, currently on a 29-11 run. That's over 72%. You do not want to miss out on these guaranteed winnings. Big-time winnings right here on our channel. Go check it out. We can guarantee it's the best purchase you'll make all year long, and it's a full 365-day, full year-long subscription. So you buy now, you get all the way through week 6 of next year. Do not miss out on this, guys, because if you do, you're not going to win big. You're going to miss out on another huge, massive week of winnings right here at the Gridiron Expert. Again, the link to that down in the description below, as well as our Patreon account and our mailing address to send us some of your team's gear to be represented in every single Gridiron Expert video, especially once we get back to our original GEHQ, or our current GEHQ. This is now the original. But let's dive into this game, guys. A top 25 matchup on Saturday. A game where it kind of goes both ways for both these teams, right? Notre Dame is still, despite the loss to Ohio State, still in the hunt for the college football playoff. They basically, though, they've got to win out, right? One more loss, they're done. But they can get a top 25 win over Louisville, next week over USC, maybe later against Clemson. They had the pieces there to still make that run. But a loss here ends it. Louisville is trying to make a statement here. They're 5-0, first year under Jeff Brom. This would be a massive signature victory for his Cardinal squad if they can pull off the win at home. We dive into the personnel here. We'll start on offense for Notre Dame. This is a team that's balanced, right? And we've seen it all year long. A team that's averaging over 269 passing yards per game, over 192 on the ground. Sam Hartman and Audric Estime are one of the best 1-2 punches at quarterback and running back in the entire country. They are playing lights out football this year. Sam Hartman is especially. Over 1,400 passing yards, 14 touchdowns, not a zero interceptions this year. They've played, 6 games, and he hasn't thrown a single interception. That's insanely impressive for Notre Dame. But here's an interesting mark, right? He hasn't thrived well against Louisville in his career, dating back to his time at Wake Forest. And that was actually evident last year. Seems kind of poetic, right? Last year, Sam Hartman's 10th ranked Demon Deacons, Notre Dame is ranked 10th, traveled to Louisville, came to Louisville, and they got annihilated. Sam Hartman had a horrible day. Threw 3 interceptions last year. He was sacked 8 times. 3 of those 8 sacks resulted in him fumbling the ball, Louisville recovering, and the Cardinals went on to blow out the Demon Deacons in one of the worst games of Sam Hartman's entire career. Partially his fault, partially the fault of the horrible Wake Forest offensive line and a Louisville defense that was drastically better last year than it was this year, though this year it's not that bad. So can Sam Hartman come in and kind of redeem himself? A bit of a personal game for him. Bad memories for sure, but an opportunity to redeem himself after such a poor performance last season. So that's an interesting storyline to watch right now. Audric Estime, the other guy we just mentioned, has been phenomenal. Over 670 rushing yards on the year, 7 touchdowns, averaging over 7 yards per carry. This offensive line for Notre Dame, guys, is a major reason for all the success. You know, we praise the quarterback, we praise the running back. You've got to give credit to the guys up front. An offensive line that's only given up 6 sacks, only 6 sacks in 6 games. They're taking great care of their quarterback. They're opening lanes up for Estime. They're going to be the key for Notre Dame if they want to win this game against the Cardinals. You take a look at Louisville. Jeff Brom, he has the offense going. He's an offensive-minded coach, played quarterback for the Cardinals. He went over to Purdue, did phenomenal things with them. He's doing the exact same thing now. This passing game is clicking. No doubt about it. They're averaging over 300 passing yards per game, although Jack Plummer hasn't been all that great. Over 1,400 yards, sure, 11 touchdowns to just 6 interceptions. So not the best touchdown-interception ratio, but they're getting the job done. The more important thing that you're looking at for Louisville here, and what's been most impressive, has been the running game. We know they want to air it out. We know they're capable of airing it out. But Jawar Jordan and this Louisville rushing attack has been really, really impressive. Jawar Jordan, 510 yards on the year, 6 touchdowns already, averaging 7.7 yards per carry. And like Notre Dame, the Cardinals have a phenomenal offensive line, one that's opening up lanes for their running back, one that's only allowed 9 sacks so far this season. They have 6 players that have over 100 reception yards on the year, led by Jamari Thrash with 444 reception yards and 5 touchdowns. But this is a Louisville offense, guys, that statistically, number-wise, has looked solid, but against some decent, semi-decent opponents, hasn't looked all that great. They only put up 21 points against Indiana, where they only won by 7. Last week, only put up 13 points against NC State, only won by 3. So they're winning these games, but against mediocre opponents, they haven't looked that great. And we all know Notre Dame, they're not a mediocre opponent. They're an elite opponent. The offense is going to have to play 10 times better than it has pretty much all year long. Take a look at the defense. The question is, can Louisville do that, right? Can Louisville do that against a Notre Dame defense that is one of the best in the entire country? The Fighting Irish giving up just 271 yards per game, only 147 through the air, and 124 on the ground. The most points they've allowed all year was a few weeks ago, earlier in the year, like week 2, when they allowed 24 points to NC State. Still won that game by like 21 points. So that's the most Notre Dame's given up. They only gave up 17 to Ohio State. They only gave up 14 to Duke. So they're holding these opponents to very low scores. Maybe they put up some decent yards here and there, but what matters is what's on the scoreboard. Put up 700 yards and muster 3 points. Doesn't matter. So Notre Dame's doing a pretty good job of that. Sometimes a bend but don't break type of defense. This is a team that held Duke last week, again, to 14 points on the road and held them to 134 passing yards on the day. And we know how good Riley Leonard is at quarterback, and yet they contained him for the entire game and held the Blue Devils scoreless at home till nearly the fourth quarter, till about 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Louisville is now facing this Notre Dame defense, and they're going to have to find a way to get going on the ground. If you look at the last couple games for Notre Dame, Ohio State generated a lot of success on the ground. The biggest play of the game came on the ground. And we're not talking about the game-winning touchdown. We're talking about that 60-plus yard touchdown earlier on in the game. Same with Duke. Duke had a lot of success on the ground last week, not so much through the air. So if you're Louisville, you're going to have to try to win this game on the ground with Jawar Jordan and finding balance there. Notre Dame, shut that down because we know you have faith in your secondary. Take a look at Louisville's defense. Well, the strength last year has been pretty solid this year, giving up 328 yards per game. It's not a bad mark. 218 through the air, 110 on the ground. They have 9 sacks this year, 9 turnovers forced this year, but they are nowhere near creating the amount of pressure they were creating on opponents from last season. Well, they had like 50 sacks in 2022. Season's still young right now, yes, but they are definitely not on pace to hit that mark. They lost a lot of production from last year up front, and it's showing a little bit in the early stages of this season. They held North Carolina State last week to 201 yards. That's an impressive feat. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you're playing. Holding a team to just 201 yards in an entire game is pretty impressive. They're not going to do that against Notre Dame. They're going to need probably their best defensive performance of the year to take down Notre Dame. They have been strong against the run. That's great. Shut down Audric Estime. Get after him. But ultimately, guys, they're now facing a quarterback in Sam Hartman that's the best quarterback they've seen all year and maybe will be the best quarterback they see all year, both past, present, future. Sam Hartman probably will be the best quarterback that this Louisville team faces all year long, and they've got to find a way to make Notre Dame one-dimensional. Problem is, how do they do that? You shut down Sam Hartman like you did last year when he was at Wake Forest. Well, Notre Dame's got a run game that can pick up that slack. You shut down Audric Estime. Well, we know Sam Hartman's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Hasn't even thrown an interception yet. He's a legitimate Heisman Trophy contender, and he's out to prove something. So ultimately, guys, what's going to happen on Saturday night? It's one of the games of the week, no doubt about it. We're going to go with the Fighting Irish here. If you couldn't figure that out. We're going to go with the Fighting Irish here. Cardinal Stadium, they're going to be rocking. It's going to be an electric atmosphere. It's a massive, massive game for both of these teams. No doubt about it. But Notre Dame, to me, is the better team on both sides of the ball. To me, the only advantage they don't have here is home field advantage. They just overcame that last week against a good Duke team, a Duke team that was hosting College game day. And don't let the Blue Devils fool you. They are a good team. Honestly, I would put something out there that said Duke's a little bit better than Louisville. I would pick Duke over Louisville as of right now. So if Notre Dame can go on the road and beat Duke, I have faith they can come on the road and beat Louisville. Give me the Fighting Irish to win this game. It's close. It's relatively close. I don't know if it'll be decided by more than 10 to 13 points. Would be surprised if Notre Dame won by over 14 points. I really would. But the Fighting Irish get this win, and they remain in the hunt for the college football playoff. They don't look ahead to next week against USC, but that will be the game. That's the massive game. The game of the week, next week, that could have major playoff implications, not just for Fighting Irish, but for USC as well. Won't matter if they can't beat Louisville, but right now, we definitely believe that they will. So there you have it, guys. Notre Dame over Louisville on Saturday night. Leave your predictions down in the comments below. Let's get ready for another massive weekend of college football. Once again, as always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below, including those expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. If you haven't signed up for those yet, we don't know what you're doing. You're missing out on guaranteed winnings. 29-11 run currently, over 72%, beating out over 80% of the national handicappers. Go sign up and win with us today. Again, the link for that down in the description below. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on The Gridiron Expert.